everyone, it's Sienna. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a few scams to be aware of when in South Korea. Whether you are traveling or you plan to live here, there are a few scams that you should be aware of if you are especially a foreigner living in Korea. So I'm going to break it down into 4 different most typical scams that a lot of people become victims of in Korea. I'm just gonna jump right into it. The first scam to be aware of in Korea are cults. So there's a lot of cults in Korea, a lot of people approaching you on the streets, and you always have to look at them with a side eye. I had a couple experiences. A lot of the times they don't outright scream cult vibes. Like I had a girl come up to me that was around my age, and she came up to me like she recognized me, so I was like, I thought I recognized her back, and then she just kept going along with it. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. And then when I was like still confused, she was like, oh, I'm sorry, are you not Korean? And I was like, oh no, I am. And then we were speaking in Korean, and then I could sense that something was off because she wanted to know more about me. But in Korea, you don't just randomly go up to a stranger and ask their name, ask what they're doing, how is their day, stuff like that. So I just walked away, and then my friend said it's very common in Gangnam area too, where a lot of university girls are targeted because they think we are very impressionable and we fall for those kind of things. We never think to run away from another 20-something-year-old girl or woman approaching us on the street. It could be like asking for directions to older women. They look so innocent and you think they're 100% asking for directions, and you're like going on your phone and showing them the way, but that's not it at all. A lot of the times they're just looking for a way to approach you and start up a conversation, so you need to be aware of that. If you're a foreigner, you can just say like, oh, I don't know. I actually made a whole video about this previously, so if you want to check that out, you can. Some people approach you acting like they're interested in you. So if you're a woman, a man would approach you. If you're a man, a woman would approach you. A very good-looking man or a very good-looking woman, and they would ask for your number. And then there were a couple cases when people would tell them their numbers and exchange information, actually go on a couple dates until they find out that it's actually a cult looking to recruit members. So you always got to be careful of that as well. If there's something fishy about it, if you feel like it's too good to be true, then it probably is too good to be true. Another major one is people coming up to you and commenting on your aura, like, oh, you have a very good something about you, I can sense your energy. And they say, oh, like you look like you're full of luck, or they say you're gonna face trials, like just random stuff like that. That is probably a cult as well. Now, you would think that only Koreans are falling victim into these cults, because if you're a foreigner, it might sound easy, right? You just say, I don't know, I don't speak Korean, and walk away. But these days, a lot of these cult members are targeting foreigners as well, because foreigners don't really know a lot about this type of culture here. So they fall very easily into these traps. I heard that nowadays there's a lot of these members just wandering around airports and very popular tourist destinations, just looking for their next target. Very common way that they do this is just approaching you, being friendly, and asking, hey, do you want to experience a very traditional Korean culture? And they offer it up to you. And so you think, oh wow, that's very sweet of them. I'm gonna go and experience the Korean culture firsthand. And you get there and they do all this very traditional Korean stuff in a very traditional looking building, and you think it's pretty cool, but at the same time you're kind of wondering why you're here, what they're really doing. And then after that, when you want to leave, they're gonna say, no, you have to pay the participation fee. They'll actually require you to make a donation, or you already participated in this, so you have to pay a fee for that after without telling you. So be careful of that. Another common way that they get you is they target foreigners, and they especially target younger foreigner women because they think that they're kind of lonely here. So they would invite them to a dinner, invite them to a fun night with their friends. And if you go to university, they can make a connection with, oh, I go to that university as well. I know someone that goes to that university, and invite you for a night out. But it's actually you're going to their house and they're making you watch a video. Or if you go to dinner, they're going to constantly bring up, do you go to church? Do you do this? Do you do that? I actually had an experience. I guess I was kind of oblivious to the fact that a lot of these cults disguise themselves as Christian and they hold Bible studies, and it's crazy. Like you'll just be having a normal conversation, and then out of nowhere they would constantly bring up religious things even when it doesn't really have a correlation. So I don't know, like I fell into it, so I guess it happens a lot more than you think. The next one is something called voice phishing. That's what we call that in Korea. So what is voice phishing? Voice phishing is essentially like scam call or scam phone text messages. A lot of older women, like in their 40s or 50s, grandmas fell into it because they would pretend to be your daughter or son. So they would send you a text with an unknown number being like, hi, this is your daughter. I lost my phone. I need you to send me $1,000 really quickly. Like I have to pay rent. And then by the time they send the money to that bank account, a lot of the times it's like, I need you to buy me like those gift cards that they sell at convenience stores. Because obviously if you do wire transfer, you would need their bank information. So instead of that, they would ask you to buy a top-up card at a convenience store and then charge the card and then just tell them the name and the code and stuff like that. But anyways, a lot of people fell victim to it, and my grandma actually got a call the other day from my brother, and it was basically just this young kid like crying their eyes out. So she thought something happened. Because I was also wondering, like, can't you just text your child to make sure that it's actually them or not? But it happened so fast. So she was alone, and then she just randomly gets this call, someone pretending to be my brother, and then he's just crying his eyes out. She doesn't know what's happening. And when someone's crying, you can't really tell the difference. Like all you do is panic. That's your first instinct. But luckily she was able to call the school and clarify with the teacher that he was in fact in school, everything was okay. So luckily they didn't get us, but it's really sad how a lot of people lose a lot of money with these scam phone calls, and it goes up to like thousands and thousands of dollars. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Instagram DMs. So if you guys don't know, BJs are content creators that go live on a platform in Korea, and they are very, very popular here. They have a huge market. A lot of the mukbang YouTubers started as a BJ on one of these live platforms. If you walk around Gangnam like on a Friday or late at night, you would see a lot of these content creators with their phones, and they're basically live streaming. I put this in there because I experienced this and my friends experienced it. So I was just hoping that more people would be aware. Basically, a few years ago, me and my friend were out in Gangnam, and this random guy with a selfie stick, he was live streaming, comes up to us and asks if he can join us for a couple drinks. And we said no because it's kind of sketch, but he was like, oh, like we'll pay you like $200. And we still said no, but then later on at night, we got that offer a lot. So we were like, what is this market? But these days, a lot of these live streamers get a fake anonymous account and they DM a lot of girls. I've gotten like tens of DMs with the same message, and it basically reads like, hi, I'm looking for a female guest. However, you need to be over 19 years old and you need to be single. You can't be married. You can't have a boyfriend. And I think that's the part that really threw me off, because I get quite a few messages of people asking for collaborations, and it's always kind of sketch when they're like, you have to not have a boyfriend because what are you gonna do, you know? One time I screenshotted it and I posted it on my stories being like, this is not sketch at all. All I have to do is go live, drink, entertain. But I think a lot of 19-year-olds fall for it. Yeah, I posted it on my stories, and I had a friend reach out to me and they said, she knows someone really close to her, and okay, yeah, this sounds like a good deal. And they went, and she went live, and they were drinking, they were having fun. The camera goes off, and he basically slipped something in her drink and took advantage of her that night. So it's a very tough subject to deal with, right? But I just wanted to include that in there just in case anyone gets those DMs and they're like, oh wow, this seems very interesting, this seems like a good idea. Just be careful of that. I'm not saying all live streamers are like that, but I'm saying that that stuff does happen and we can't turn a blind eye to it. So ever since that, every time I get those DMs, I'm like so disgusted and I just block the accounts right away. The last one, perhaps the most disgusting one of all, is the 몰카. 몰카, also known as spy cameras in English, are illegally installed in public bathrooms, saunas, changing rooms, showers, like gym showers, or motels to record illicit and private videos and pictures without the person knowing. So this has been a very serious problem in Korea for the longest time that often targets women. It's so normalized here that I hate using public bathrooms, but it was getting really bad to the point where I was having serious stomach problems because I was holding my pee in everywhere I went. And then even when I went to Canada, I was so uncomfortable using public bathrooms that it like drove me crazy. And I heard that's really, really bad for you, so I try to go more, but if it's like a sketchy public restroom, then I'm not going in there. There's a lot of sketchy stuff that happens. There's a lot of restrooms here that are for men and women. It's not specifically for women or men, and those ones are the ones that I'm like most sketchy about, because literally anyone can go in there and set anything up. There are some ways to protect yourself though. There's a couple of devices that you can purchase, and it's like lasers around the room. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos that were going viral where you can detect spy cameras. You can also check for any other devices that are also connected to Wi-Fi as well if you are in another space. So that's pretty much it for the scams that I wanted to talk about today. South Korea is relatively a very safe country, but at the same time it's safe and not safe. Just like any other country, South Korea is filled with a lot of people, a lot of bad people, a lot of good people. And just remember that no matter where you are in the world, you should always be aware of your surroundings and take precautions in any way that you can to keep yourself safe and protected. I hope you guys stay safe and protected wherever you are in the world. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more of this type of content. I'll be back with another video very, very soon. I'll see you guys next time.